The road widening wizard simplifies the design of bus stops or parking areas alongside carriageways. It can be used to widen carriageway edges at junctions and curve widening. Graphic images guide the user through widening dimensions, taper ratios and crossfalls. Data is remembered for repetitive operations. But very importantly, before you start, take a copy of your design model, as there is no undo once widening has been accepted. Select Road Widening from the Road Design toolbar. Select the model and reference string name. Select the carriageway edge to be widened. There are various methods available for the definition of the widening, with graphic images active showing all the options as they are selected. The widening may be a lay-by with a taper at each end, or a filter lane as a junction with a taper at one end only. When widening details have been set on the previous panel, the start and end changes of the widening can be set. To widen the end of a road for a channelized junction, uncheck the equal ratio box and set the appropriate ratio, an in or an out ratio, to 0. Remember, the taper width is measured from the specified string to widen. The crossfalls need to be set for the widening. Carriageway crossfall can be projected to match the existing roadway. The crossfall can be hinged at the original carriageway edge so that the widened roadway has a new crossfall. A positive crossfall will rise from the original carriageway. The original carriageway string can be saved as a hinge string. Once the widening has been completed and previewed, there are options to undo and modify settings, or accept and continue with all current values remembered. Select Exit if no widening is required. Before I start the road widening, I'm going to take a copy of my design model. I can do this through Modify, Copy, Models. An easier way of achieving the same is to go to the MX Display toolbar. The last icon here, I can click on that. I can select my design model from the list. I can copy the selected model. I can paste it. There's our copy. If I left click, I can also rename this, and I'm just overtyping the 0 with backup. I'm hitting return. There's a warning there which I'm just going to ignore and carry on. There's my design backup. So if anything goes wrong when I'm creating my road widening, I can always get back to my original design model. I'm now going to generate a parking bay at the start of my first road, which is string label MC10. I'm going to access road widening from the road design toolbar. I'm going to select my design model. I'm going to select my reference string, which is the design road centerline, and the string to widen will be the left channel of road 1. And again, with the string naming convention, I know this label will be CE1 for road 1 and 0 for the first channel on the left hand side of the road. I've selected it from the screen and I go next. For this design, we're going to exclude taper lengths. I'm going to use a linear taper application, and I'm going to use by ratio for the distance calculation. I can then go next. My start chainage, I'm going to type in these values, but they could be selected from the screen, and I know I require a 25 meter long lay-by, so I can add 25 to my 50 to get 75 for my end chainage. And I've got an unequal ratio with a ratio in to this lay-by at 1 in 8 and a ratio out at 1 in 12. We've also got a lay-by that is going to be 3.5 meters wide, and this is from the design channel. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hinge this crossfall, so I select the radio button and I can set my crossfalls from the hinge string out to my channel at the back of the lay-by, and I want everything to drain from the back of lay-by to my hinge, so I'm just removing the negative in front of my crossfalls. So I'm going to be lifting at 0.025 or 2.5% up from the hinge string, and I'm going to go next. And I'm going to just have a quick look here at my lay-by. You can see there's the 1-in-8 taper. I've then got a 1-in-12 coming out of the lay-by, and I think this is acceptable, so I can hit next. If this was an incorrect lay-by, I could go back to undo the widening, I could finish to accept the widening and exit this wizard, or I could cancel and come out altogether without saving anything, but I'm going to go next. I'm now going to widen the second road where it joins my first road, so I pick my reference string as MC20. I'm going to select the string to widen as the left carriageway edge of road 2. Yet again, this should come up with a label of CE20. I hit next. I'm going to include taper lengths on this occasion. I'm going to go for a reverse curve for the taper application, and I'm going to stay with by ratio for my tapers. I'm going to go next. I'm going to type in a start chainage of 740. I'm going to leave the end chainage as it is because I want to maintain the widening at the end of the design road MC20. I'm going to have a taper in of 1-in-10, and I want to maintain the widening, so I put ratio out as 0, and we're doubling the road width here, so my distance is 3.65, and I hit next. We're going to project the crossfall from the existing road centre line out to the carriageway edge, and I don't require a hinge string, so I'm not going to check that. I can also see the current crossfalls are greyed out here. I've got a negative 0.025. I'm falling away from the design centre line, so I hit next. Yet again I get a preview showing the widened carriageway. I'm happy with this, so I'm going to go next to accept the widening and start another. All I need to do now is select the right carriageway edge. Again, the label will be CE2I, which is the first channel on the right of road 2. I'm going to go next. Now all of my options have been remembered, so I go next, next. Again, project the crossfall out to the right channel edge. Don't save the hinge string. And there is my widened channel preview. I'm happy, so I go finish to accept the widening.